forever. But at that time, did you know that your real dad had set out to be in movies?
No, I didn't really quite. They had tried to explain it to me, but since Kurt was so much, as far as I was concerned, my father.
Right.
Their explanation didn't make any sense. It was just mush.
Right.
And so I just
Like that there was another guy. And
I didn't really get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember because I was born Tarantino. His name was Zastapil, but he actually adopted me.
Okay.
So I would have his last name.
Yeah.
And I remember them taking me to the adoption process, that I had to talk to the judge.
Oh, yeah.
And they go, okay, so Quentin,
Yeah.
here's what this is about.
Yeah.
And so they explain it all to me and da-da-da-da-da. And then and I remember this, they bring me into the office and I meet with the judge. Okay, so now, Quentin, do you know why you're here? No. What the fuck? We just spent 15 minutes explaining to you. Yeah. Well, Quentin, let me tell you why you're here. Yeah. They're like, what the fuck was that? Yeah. We walked outside. What the fuck was that?
These people kidnapped me, and I don't know what they're trying to do, Judge.
But yeah, so I didn't really. So it wasn't until a bit later, that when I got a little older, that I realized, oh, okay, he's my stepdad and my mom, but I never went by the. I didn't even know about the name Tarantino really at that time.
You didn't?
I was Zastapil. That was my name. All through. I was always known as by that. That's what I.
Quentin Zastapil.
That's how I learned to write. That's what I learned when I first learned to write. I learned to write.
That's a good one to learn to write.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as training yourself to write things.
I mean, actually, I've always liked that's almost the Ellis Island spelling pronunciation.
Zastapil?
Yeah, the real pronunciation is Zastupil.
Yeah,
which I think is cooler.
What kind of name is it?
I think it's Czechoslovakian.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So the Tarantino thing didn't happen until later.
Yeah, and I never knew him at all. So like when I took the name Tarantino like around 18 or 19, it was simply because it sounded cool.
Quentin
it was Italian.
Yeah.
It sounded Quentin Tarantino sounded like a cool name. It had nothing to do with him, and it had nothing to do with the family. It was simply just I thought it was a cool sounding name.
Right, but it is your name.
And it had and it is my name.
Yeah.
And it had but it also had the benefit of reinvention because I had never used it.
Right. Exciting new thing. But you're one of the few guys that creates a stage name that's actually your actual name.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you had Zastapil, which would not have been as compelling as Tarantino, probably.
Well, if I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't use the name Tarantino. If I had to do it all over again, I would
call yourself Burt Reynolds.
No, I would. I wish. I would use my middle name, which is Jerome, as my last name. I would be Quentin Jerome.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I think you made the right choice.
Yeah, I get it, but
but when did you at some point investigate your real father?
No, all right, because he had 30 fucking years to find me, all right, and he never did. But then when I became famous, he crawled out of the woodwork.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, what was that like?
Fucking horrible.
Really?
Yeah, it was a drag.
What did he do?
Well, he just
hey, buddy.
Yeah, he tried to reach out to me. I wasn't interested. And then all of a sudden, this woman named Jamie Bernard wrote a book about me, the first biography about me. I had done 2 movies, right? And the book was called Quentin Tarantino, The Man in His Movies. Both of them.
We're just Reservoir Dogs and...
Pulp Fiction, yeah. So it's The Man in His Movies.
It's a little premature.
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah.
There you go. So she was kind of the expert on me at that moment in time. And all of a sudden, like, he got in contact with her. And then she's like, oh, my God, I'm talking to the father, that no one's ever talked to before. Right. So she does this whole interview
with that guy.
With him.
Who
I've never met.
Yeah.
Who I've never met.
Yeah.
And they print it, big piece, in Premiere magazine.
Wow.
It was so fucked up. I mean, it's like, it's you can't even say that he was like a bad dad and maybe that reflected on Quentin's life. No, he was not there.
But did he manufacture a story?
Well, he just talked about himself and and then the picture of him is him dressed in a black suit like a Reservoir Dog.
Oh my God!
Pointing a gun.
Oh my God!
It was pretty tasteless.
So what? Did you have a confrontation with the guy?
No, I just wanted him to go away.
But you never talked to him?
Look, one time.
Yeah.
One time.
Did he ask you to be in a movie?
No. Oh. Okay, that's something else. Okay, that's something else.
Oh, it is.
Okay, so He wanted to be an actor a long time ago,
Yeah.
and then sometime in the 90s,
Yeah.
him and Al Pacino's estranged father, Sal Pacino,
No.
hooked up, and they started doing these straight-to-video movies.
Really?
Starring them. So you could actually put on the video box
Yeah.
Pacino and Tarantino in,
Yeah.
you know,
And
Silver Dudes with Guns or whatever that was called.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
And so they started doing these straight-to-video movies.
did you watch him?
No, I never saw it. I didn't want to. I didn't even want to know what the guy looks like.
It's hilarious. The only movies you won't watch.
Yeah, right. I mean, oddly enough, to
Yeah.
actually, I actually think there is something. Look, I'm not into this dude,
Right.
but I actually think there is something kind of sweet
Yeah.
about the idea that the son that he never saw ever allowed him to have somewhat of a
Yeah.
semblance of the career that he was never able to get on his own.
Yeah.
I actually think there's something sweet about that.
Right.
I mean, it's done as exploitively as possible, but nevertheless, he was able to end up living his dream doing these straight-to-video movies, acting and playing roles, and My Fame gave him that. I mean, there's that. I'm compassionate enough to appreciate that.
Yeah.
and think that's actually kind of a good thing.
Yeah.
If he had been cool.
Yeah.
And hadn't tried to horn in.
Yeah.
And he had just had some class.
Yeah.
I would actually be all down. I might have even looked him up.
Right, yeah,
if he had class.
Right. So
So then one day I was in a cafe.
yeah.
And I'm in a cafe. I'm ordering something, and all of a sudden he's just there,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Hi, it's me." And I look up and I recognize. Yeah, I knew exactly who it was.
Yeah.
And
Does he look like you?
No, he doesn't look like me.
Okay.
Not that I think.
Okay.
And I go,
Yeah. This is it.
I knew
yeah.
this day was going to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Yep, that day's today." And he goes, "May I sit?" And I just looked at the table and I waved him away with my hand. I just looked down. I didn't want to look. I didn't look. I looked at him when I said,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And then I just looked down at my plate and I just waved him away.
Yeah.
I just go.
Right.
Just go.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
And he went.
And that was it.
That was it.
Huh. You don't know if he's alive or dead.
I'm sure he's alive.
No.
He's done enough that when he dies, they'll write about it.
Oh, right. He'll get a variety piece. Maybe?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm not saying it's going to be front page, all right? But
This clip is from the WTF podcast with Marc Maron. If you want to watch the full episode with Quentin Tarantino, the link is in the description.